Have you ever wondered why a calm, peaceful river can suddenly turn into a raging, destructive force? It's a question that has puzzled humanity for centuries, and the answer lies in the mystery of rising waters. Floods, as we know them, are a natural disaster of immense proportions. They're a phenomenon that can turn serene landscapes into tumultuous waterways, causing untold damage and altering the course of lives and civilizations. While floods can occur anywhere, there are certain pockets around the world that are more susceptible to this watery wrath. These areas live in a constant state of preparedness, their inhabitants always aware that the waters around them can, at any moment, become their biggest adversary. In our quest to understand this destructive force of nature, we delve into the causes, the effects, and the intricate web of factors that trigger these devastating floods. So, what triggers these devastating floods? Stay tuned as we unravel this mystery. One of the most common causes of floods is heavy rainfall. Now, imagine a torrential downpour. The skies open up and water comes gushing down. This excessive rainfall can quickly overwhelm the capacity of the ground to absorb it, and when the ground can't keep up, the surplus water has nowhere to go but to spread out, leading to floods. This scenario is particularly true in areas with poor drainage or where the ground is already saturated from previous rains. Think of the ground like a sponge. A dry sponge can absorb a lot of water, but a sponge that's already wet? Not so much. It's the same principle. If the ground is already saturated, it can't absorb much more water. This excess water then pools on the surface, leading to flooding. But rain is not the only culprit. There are other factors at play. When winter says goodbye and snow starts melting, rivers can swell beyond their banks. As the icy blankets that once covered the mountainous regions retreat, they can often leave behind a high-stakes showdown with nature, a flood. This is particularly true when the transition from winter to spring is abrupt, causing a rapid snow melt. Picture this. The snow, built up over months, acts like a frozen reservoir. When temperatures rise or heavy rains fall, this reservoir can quickly transform into a rushing torrent. The ground, still hard from winter's chill, is unable to absorb this sudden influx of water. Where does the water go? It follows the path of least resistance, rushing into rivers and streams. These water bodies, unprepared for the sudden deluge, overflow their banks, causing floods. This rapid snowmelt is a major contributor to floods, particularly in mountainous regions. Yet snow and rain are not the only factors that can cause a flood. Sometimes the hand that feeds also bites. Human activity can often lead to floods. Let's explore how. One of the prime culprits is dam failures. Dams are man-made structures designed to hold back water, often forming artificial lakes known as reservoirs. They serve multiple purposes, from generating electricity to providing water for irrigation. However, when they fail, the consequences can be catastrophic. The sudden release of the stored water can lead to devastating floods, sweeping away everything in its path. It's like opening the floodgates, quite literally. So a structure made to control water can ironically be a source of flooding when things go awry. But dams aren't the only way we humans contribute to floods. Our urban development plays a role too. As cities expand, green spaces shrink. Concrete and asphalt replace soil and vegetation. This urban sprawl results in less land available to absorb rainwater. Instead, the water rushes over the hard surfaces, accumulating quickly and leading to urban flooding. It's a classic case of the concrete jungle turning into a waterlogged one. Then there's the issue of deforestation, another human activity with far-reaching impacts. Trees and vegetation play a vital role in holding the soil together. Without them, the soil becomes loose and prone to erosion. When it rains, the eroded soil can clog rivers and streams, reducing their capacity to carry water away. This can increase the risk of floods, transforming a once lush forest into a muddy mess. So, while nature may have its ways of causing floods, we humans certainly have our share of the blame. It's a reminder that our actions can have unintended consequences, often affecting the very environments we depend on. It's a complex interplay, a dance with nature where a wrong step can lead to disaster. As we can see, floods can be caused by a number of different factors. So we've established that floods can be caused by heavy rainfall, rapid snowmelt, dam failures, and human interference. Let's take a moment to recap and bring everything together. First, we delved into the mystery of rising waters, laying out how an overabundance of rainfall can lead to flooding. When the sky pours down more water than the ground can absorb, Rivers, lakes and streams can quickly overflow, causing floodwaters to spread across the land. Then we moved on to the snowmelt showdown, highlighting how the rapid thawing of snow and ice can contribute to floods as well. As temperatures rise, large volumes of snow in mountainous regions can melt at an accelerated rate, overwhelming rivers and causing them to breach their banks. Next, we analysed the role of dam failures in causing floods. We learned that when a dam fails, whether due to structural issues or excessive water pressure, the sudden release of a large volume of water can lead to catastrophic flooding downstream. Finally, we touched upon human interference, emphasizing how our actions can exacerbate or even cause flooding. From deforestation and urbanization that reduce the land's ability to absorb water, to climate change that alters weather patterns, our impact on the environment can have significant consequences. Understanding these causes of floods is not just an exercise in curiosity. It can help us better prepare for and mitigate the effects of floods. By knowing what to look for, we can make informed decisions about where to live, how to design our cities, and how to manage our water resources. Moreover, this understanding can guide our efforts to reduce the risk of floods. From planting trees to absorb excess water, to building stronger dams and levees, to taking action against climate change, there's a lot we can do to protect ourselves and our communities from the devastation of floods. While we cannot completely prevent floods, understanding their causes can help us reduce their devastating effects.